Hi, Donald. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited to have you on the call for Off the Charts Catering. Everybody, Donald Burns is the restaurant coach. He has an extensive background in restaurants, and I'd love for him to take a minute and just tell you a little bit about his background and what he does and how he knows so much about restaurants. Thanks,
Well,
Donald.
thank you, Katrina. Thanks for having me on. I grew up in the restaurant business. My father was a chef, and I've been involved in restaurants my whole life. My grandmother owned a diner. Um, when I was in the when I was in high school, I worked in hotels and stuff. My father worked in, and then I went into the military, got out, went to college, of course. Didn't think I wanted to be in the restaurant business, and then
Mm-hmm.
I just started. A weird thing happened. I just kind of really fell back in love with it again, and started working with the right chefs, working with the right people, working in the right restaurants. I owned two of my own restaurants, and then I sold those, and I was lucky to get recruited by Wolfgang Puck,
Oh,
and I worked at
nice.
Spago Beverly Hills, and then at that time, Wolfgang was actually expanding his catering company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to be part of the team that went around the country, and we set up catering units in museums around the country. And it would be the setup was we set up a small restaurant inside the museum called Puck's, and then we would take over the catering of the museum, and then eventually the city. And I did like 6 units like that for like 5 years, and then decided to branch out my own and do my own consulting work. And now I do consulting work with my restaurant coach brand. It's at donaldburns.net, and I also do consulting work with Shamrock Foods, which is a huge vendor in the Southwest market, Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, California, and New Mexico, of course.
Very good. You do have quite the restaurant background. I've actually been to a couple of those Pucks restaurants inside the museums. So
Mm-hmm.
very cool. So the big question today is, if you were operating a restaurant right now, what's the one thing you would do to make your catering more profitable?
Well, the number one thing to do is number one, set up an attractive catering package and really get the word out there. There's always a saying in restaurant business: catering lets you have a nice restaurant. And when I owned my restaurants, it was back in like 2000 and 2001 after 9/11,
Hmm.
and the market really hit bad.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the catering I had established and really pushed, the restaurant probably would have gone under. But the catering really helped save me. And once you get the word out there and stuff like that, and the big thing to do is market and market and
Hmm.
market and market and get the word out there that you have catering available. Make a really attractive package. Spend some time, get a graphic artist or a graphic designer, help you design a really nice catering package. And also the wording too is very important. Your menu should sound appealing, because when people are looking at catering, they're basically going on first impression, and so looks, the aesthetics of the package. Invest in some high quality photographs if
Hmm.
you can,
Interesting.
and really make the wording sound good. I mean, you could say, a ribeye steak with, potatoes and, green beans. Okay, that sounds nice. But how about a cote de boeuf with palms a la go and truffled haricot vert? I mean,
Interesting. So those
the wording.
description
Oh yeah,
words.
oh yeah. The wording's everything, and the way you describe it, and using real descriptors, especially in the headlines of things, instead of just chicken piccata. How
Hmm.
about a sage scented chicken, piccata? I mean, something like that. Just adjectives and words that kind of increase the value. And so
Interesting.
I could take menus that, and that's one of the things I kind of do is I take menus, I kind of revamp them, and we just take the words and we just kind of let's just kind of kick it up a little bit. Let's just make the wording a little more attractive,
Yeah.
and then the packaging too. The packaging is everything. People, especially until they try your food, they're going on a visual sense, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if
And
you
we
can get
eat with
video
our eyes.
testimonials from people who've done catering with you, if you
Mhm.
can record some video testimonials and put them on Facebook or put them on YouTube, that's another great thing to do. People want to be, Food Network and all these cooking shows have really kind of given kind of a backstage look in the restaurant industry. So if you can get someone who can tape a little video of you making some stuff, or making your homemade meatballs that you do for
Right.
caterings, or making homemade tamales and put it on it will really help you a lot. Really draw your catering business out.
That's interesting. Can we go back to that part about using the descriptive words? Is there
Mm-hmm.
some sort, because I think there is right now it just seems like there is so much amazing food out there that these chefs are really taking the time to to source really signature ingredients and just
Right.
make it really cool. Is there some little trick or formula you go through to help name these products? Like what you said about the sage chicken piccata really stood out to
Mhm.
me. Like, what do you go back to the recipe to help name it, or how do you do that?
I go to the recipe. I also look for ingredients that I'm using from the local market. Let's say I'm
Okay.
using like a Taylor Ranch,
Mm-hmm.
or organic spring mix. I make sure to include those words. People like to buy local. I like to support local. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime you can put those keywords in there, people love it. If
It's
you're using New
interesting.
Mexico certified beef, if you're using certain organic or a certain farmer's famous, like Colorado, they have a great corn, Osea corn, and
Mm-hmm.
if you use that, use those keywords, it really draws more value to the item. And when you draw more value, of course, it increases awareness, and when it increases awareness, increases kind of interest. When you get more
Mm-hmm.
interest, then you get more leads. When you get more leads, then you close more sales.
Exactly. So that really moves people through the
Mm-hmm.
buying process. That is an awesome tip, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. And it to me it sounds like something that would be so fun for a chef or a restaurant operator to sit down with their team and hash that out. So thank you for sharing
That's the
that.
best thing, yeah. And just get a couple pieces of white paper out, and I just take
Yeah.
the menus and I tape them to them, and I just draw lines, and we just start, making, just creative suggestions, and just let everyone kind of get involved. That's always good. It's also great for team building too, when you let
Yeah.
them have an input and you
Mhm.
show that you value what they have to say too.
Very good. Thanks for sharing that. If there's anyone on the call who's interested in working with you, Donald, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Go to my website, www.donaldburns.net, and you can always find me there.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome. Bye bye.